Japanese monsters have historically taken upon many names, some of which being Mononoke, Bakemono, and Obake, now most referred to by the broader term yokai, which embodies everything from monsters and spirits to mysterious phenomena. Yokai have become a commercial sensation through TV and movie, but their folkloric origin has a much more significant custom in Japanese culture. In Japanese culture, yokai were not created just as fun stories, but to give agency to things we may not understand or have answers for yet. Strange sounds attributed to spirits running about and misfortune caused by invisible monsters carried in the wind. Yokai took on many forms to explain the things we could not control or did not know the true causes of. Although science has now given us explanations for the whys and hows of the world, yokai are still important to the culture of animism, the belief that all things have their own spiritual essence. All nature, such as rocks, rivers, and weather systems, have their own agency. The Japanese form of animism furthers to include even certain objects, such as brooms and teapots, as holders of spiritual will. Tsukumogami are a type of yokai that inhabit ancient objects. It is said that upon an object's 100th birthday, they receive a soul and become sentient. Although these spirits are rarely malicious, only ever committing small pranks and playful tricks, upon mistreatment or abuse of the object they inhabit, the spirit may become resentful and seek vengeance. Tsukumogami are a perfect example of how yokai embody the philosophy of animism. Tsukumogami teach us to treat even the simplest of objects like umbrellas and lanterns with the same respect we would anything else. They help to connect us with the world and teach us the consequences of mistreatment. We must value the things that we have and not take our possessions for granted. Hinagami are a type of Tsukumogami that have the ability to grant wishes. These spirits reside in the form of earth-made dolls. Though a wish-granting yokai may sound appealing, making one of these Hinagami could cost the creator quite the turmoil. As the doll grants more and more wishes, it becomes more demanding and malicious, feeding off human greed. The Hinagami is a lesson warning against giving in to greed. Yet another way the Japanese culture furthers the moral of respecting what you have and not being covetous. The tales of Hinagami warn that these yokai continue to haunt and harass you into the afterlife as punishment for one's insatiable greed. Japanese religions have a strong belief in nature being associated with gods. Similarly, there are also yokai that are linked to aspects of nature. These yokai serve to teach us to respect nature as if it is also sentient. By giving spirit to these things, we can connect with them emotionally and understand the repercussions of harming them. For example, kodama are tree spirits. They appear as just ordinary trees, but upon attempting to cut one down, you will become cursed. There is a similar theory about very old trees that will bleed upon being cut down. Both folktales allude to the theme of respecting nature and were probably concocted to prevent deforestation in a certain period. In a different sense concerning respecting nature, yokai are also used to warn against the dangers of certain natural occurrences. To respect nature is to also understand its strength and be cautious of the dangers of challenging it. These yokai are a little more vicious as a way to warn humans of the power nature possesses. One of these frightening yokai is also one of the most famous ghostly yokai. The Yuki-onna is a personification of hypothermia, a ghostly woman sporting pale features and blue lips. She is most likely a folktale warning against straying out into the mountains in the wintertime. Yuki-onna appears on snowy nights in the mountains and sucks the warmth right out of your body and freezes you with a single glance. Yokai are also often created to explain mysterious phenomena. Phenomena-type yokai support the belief of animism by personifying mysterious experiences and giving character to them. Usually these yokai are created to support cautionary advice or ease the mystery of concerning conundrums. Yanari is a simple yet quite popular yokai. Yanari are known for creating bothersome noises at odd times of the night. Clearly they are simply a way to excuse noises of the house, but having Yanari takes the mystery out of the suspicious noises and instead gives us a connection to another conscious existence. Personifying things that may scare us tends to make them less frightening. Another phenomena-type yokai is the makuragaishi, or pillow flipper. These yokai do just as their name states. They like playing tricks on you during the night by flipping or moving your pillow to curse you with bad luck. Though usually harmless, makuragaishi have been accused of more sinister actions as well, like tossing people about and sitting on one's chest during sleep. A yokai made famous by the Studio Ghibli film Spirited Away is kamikakushi, the literal translation being hidden by the gods. This is a phenomenon in which a person goes missing, sometimes to never be seen again, and other times reappearing years later, having completely changed. This occurrence is attributed to the acts of yokai whisking a person away to another world. It is unfortunately obvious that these occurrences could have to do with people wandering off or kidnappings, but in the case that a person is not found for some time, it may be easier on the mind to state that they were taken by spirits and may one day return to our world. This is one way the belief of animism may help protect one's emotional spirit. The more fortunate type of yokai is the Zashiki Warashi. It is said that if you begin to habitually misplace things, your house might be inhabited by one of these mischievous yokai. Although Zashiki Warashi may inflict troublesome pranks, it is considered quite good fortune to have one in your home, and you should entice them to stay, lest you be overcome with great misfortune. Zashiki Warashi are used as an explanation for clumsy or scatterbrained behavior, but instead of beating oneself up about simple mistakes, it is much more easy and fun to blame such happenings on tricky yokai. These yokai are used to personify our mistakes and make light of them rather than criticize our humanity. They remind us that it is okay to be human and encourage us to celebrate our faults. As the culture of Japan spreads worldwide, and in particular to North America, it may be more popular nowadays to hear about yokai in the form of TV shows and comics or the Japanese form manga. There is still a belief in these types of Japanese monsters that fuels the older culture and religions of Japan. Animism is a philosophy heavily maintained by the belief in yokai. Yokai, both good and evil, support the teachings of respecting all things, including nature and the inanimate, teaching good morality through the award of fortune or consequence. This brings us closer to the spiritual world and in turn reminds us of our mortality.